This is Angela Johnstone, Program Director for Special Education with Spokane Public Schools. And the topic is parent participation in the IEP meetings. And so the IEP stands for the Individualized Education Program, and it's the plan. And so we know there are required team members, special education teacher, parent, general education teacher, and then other professionals with whom the student is eligible for that particular service. Could be OT, PT, SLP. Those individuals then would also be in attendance. There are occasions where parents are not able to participate, and we have attempted all of our communication and inquiries as to having them participate, and they're not able to participate. And then we can then go forth and hold our IEP meeting. When a parent is able to participate, then what we have done is we come in with a pre-prepared or a draft IEP to the meeting so that we are being efficient and effective with our time and honoring everyone's time that is to be there, but also that we have gathered information based on students' progress from their previous IEP on each of those goal areas, additional information if there has been further evaluations conducted, and then input from other persons, including parents. So often those IEPs in the draft form have been sent home for parents to review and come to the meeting, or everyone attends the meeting and we're having that conversation at that point in time. So the IEP comes in looking like it's a fully completed document, but it's not. We have not held the meeting. So each page then is reviewed and additional information can be put into the actual document and handwritten. All that we ask is that it be legible so that it can be read and understood, and this provides then for both families and special education staff further clarification as to what is the actual goal area, additional clarification in terms of circumstances that this particular action may be warranted. So for example, on the front page of this IEP, it says revisit behavior plan to make changes as necessary prior to placement. So they actually have a timeline that they've written in here, which is great. Under the summary of services matrix, they have indicated the student will participate in a human growth and development course. And there was one change to the actual location of services handwritten in here. Another section that speaks to the student report of progress, supplementary aids and services, and program modifications. The team here indicated the SLP and occupational therapy consultation with special education and general education teachers to coordinate use of technology and writing strategies, that the student will receive assistance from special education staff when using the restroom. Just other information that's helpful to what is the clarity with that particular concern or need of the student. And so to make those changes there in the meeting just ensures that we have full participation. Oftentimes the page that is blank when we come in is the participation in the state and district assessments. So we want to ensure that everyone understands that particular piece, and if the student will or will not be participating in the state assessment, what then alternative assessment will the student be participating in? And then specifically the accommodations and assistive technology page, the teacher may come in with some things marked and then further conversations about what is necessary for the student, and so all team members understand what type of accommodation is being provided and whether or not assistive technology is a viable and or warranted use for that particular student. And then areas of the actual goal areas, any changes, clarifications, revisions, additions to be made in the actual document. Meetings that I have been in, so there's two types of the IEP meeting in terms of gathering information. One is if you're able to hold the meeting where there is an ABER vision in the room Then we can throw the IEP up there. We're working off of one document. Everyone can see the information. There's no question as to what has been written. The other is we have copies for all the team members, but you designate one as the master copy, and then that's what is clearly then stated and the most legible, so that everyone understands this is the change that has been made. There is no need then, if we have done these pieces, we've made these changes, that we need to go back and create a clean or pristine copy. Sometimes it looks as though we haven't had any input if our IEPs look so clean that they, it looks like there's been no additional input received. So please, if you do have questions or concerns, direct those to your special education administrator. Thank you.
This is Angela Johnstone, Program Director for Special Education with Spokane Public Schools. And the topic is the IEP, or the Individualized Education Program Plan, and participation. And so when we speak about participation, there are the required IEP participants, which consist of the classroom teacher, the parent, the general education teacher, and other ancillary providers. Could be OT, PT, SLP, people who participate and need to be at that meeting and or are providing areas that will be addressed in the IEP are all considered required membership. This topic is focusing on parent participation. So when we speak about required membership, that's who needs to be present, and we know that we invite parents, and there are occasions where a parent does not participate, and we can move forward with that meeting. However, we have to demonstrate that we have taken all the actions necessary to include them to participate. This topic is addressing when they are present, they are there as an active participant. So we know that we come into our IEP meetings with a draft or a pre-prepared IEP that outlines information that we have gathered either upon the students' progress of their previous IEP, or if an initial, the information that we have given the assessment that has been completed and all of the team member input at that point, including parents. So we have gathered that information, and you as the classroom teacher, the special education teacher, case manager, is coming to the meeting with the draft IEP that has things written in there. As we know, we use the CDOC system to prepare all of those essential elements so that we are efficient and expeditious in that meeting. But there is always opportunity for changes that can be made to the document itself. And as you can see, I've crossed out all the particular student identification information. But in here you can see where even on the front page within the comments section, it's documented that there is a comment that was handwritten. And that's part of what demonstrates that we've actually had additional input through the meeting. And those notes then can be written into the IEP, preferably as legibly as possible, so that people are not having to go back and retype this information. Occasionally we are asked for a clean copy, which is fine, we can do that, but this does suffice as the original document and will actually assist the Spokane Public Schools in demonstrating that we do actually encourage our parents to participate in the conversations. Whoops. So moving on to the next page, you can see again there's been some additional information that has been written in here in terms of the student will participate in a human growth and development course. We made a change here in terms of the location of services. And I'm just going to run through a few pages, not the entire IEP. But in this section that we report on student progress, supplementary aids and services, there was a notation within the program modifications or support for school personnel what needed to occur so that people were on the same page with this particular student, and additionally some information that we take into consideration with the student that may affect their program and services. Typically, when we enter this meeting, the participation in the state or district-wide assessment section is not completed, and we do that with our families so that we have a clear understanding of what the various levels of the state assessment the student could be participating in, and if not the regular state assessment, what are the conditions that warrant a need for the alternative. And then, of course, down below are past scores if the student has obtained those either by the years that they've been in the school system and or participation in our state. Working through the accommodations and assistive technology page, there are times where some of the things are checked off prior to the actual meeting, but then during the meeting additional things can be marked and additional information can be written in, as was here with assignments and note-taking within the describing how the iPad would be used. And lastly, with the goals and objectives, special education teachers come prepared to the meeting with the impact statement, which describes where the student is in terms of their assessment data, where they are. Present levels is the next section of where they are with that specific area of reading, and then the measurable annual goals, which defines what is the targeted goal area and how then it will be measured. And that information can typically be written in there. Nothing prohibits further clarification or additions as such was made here, that the data will also be looked at by teacher, created data, and worksheets. And then if there are changes to this particular goal in behavior social, the change that was made, given a visual schedule, student will be able to, and then this particular goal, once they've mastered that, then we would go to add without the visual schedule as the next goal area. So remember that our parents, as well as all team members, can make changes right into the actual document and demonstrate that there has been participation in the IEP meeting, which is critical for a viable IEP, that parents understand, that parents can help to address their concerns and information, as well as adjustments that can be made if things are not clear. And as always, if you have further questions or concerns, please contact your special education administrator for further assistance. Thank you very much.